It's all about creative risk.
There's success in sequels.
It's about a bankruptcy of ideas.
It's a business.
It's become self-destructive.
It's still about ideas.
Excuse-moi.
Peter Bart gives heart attacks.
Goober is aggressive,
Whoa!
loquacious,
Hold on!
overwhelming.
Give me a break!
Wrong, wrong, wrong.
On today's Sunday morning shootout, are there too many commercials in the movie theaters? And who should get final cut, studio or director? Also joining us, legendary manager and producer, Bernie Brillstein.
Good morning, I'm Peter Bart.
And I'm Peter Goober, and you're watching Sunday Morning Shootout.
In Hollywood, there are no rules, but you break them at your peril.
Fire away, Bart.
So I think more and more people these days, Pete, are thoroughly pissed off because first they hire a babysitter, then they drive to the theater and pay the parking lot, they walk inside, and they're commercials. Now, I think they could have stayed home to watch commercials. Do people really want to watch commercials before they see a movie? I think it's a terrible idea.
I think you're dead wrong. They would be staying home if the theaters weren't going to be healthy, and the theaters need to be healthy. The theaters have an opportunity to create a revenue stream in between the movies, to capture revenue to support the other 5 days of the week that the theaters are empty.
I'm worried about revenue streams. I'm worried about theater goers. I'm worried about people who pay their $10 and actually go.
But there won't be any theaters there unless those theaters are healthy. That's the beginning of the whole food chain. It's where it all starts. Remember, movies aren't supposed to be seen at home. They're supposed to be seen in communal, immersive environments.
So let me ask you an immersive question.
All right.
I love that word. Now, there's so much product placement in movies today that you see commercials embedded inside the movie.
Well, first of all, you have to understand who's complaining. Is Variety complaining? Look at this trade, filled with ads. Are the highways complaining? Billboards filled with ads. Everywhere you look are ads. Urinals have ads on them. Why can't movie theaters have ads in them? And, whoa. Listen, wait. Having distributors complain about it, that's what I've heard. The distributors complaining about it. Their films are exactly that, monetization of products.
But let me say something to you that would worry even you, since you still make a lot of movies in your dotage.
In my what?
I didn't say dotage. The number of the box office may be going up, but as you and I know, the admissions, the number of people actually going to the movies, is going down.
Do you think it's because of commercials in the theater?
I think it's because a combination of things. I think movies are too long. There's too many products with the movies, and I don't think people like commercials.
You're obfuscating, Bart. No, it's not the issue. The issue is commercials in movie theaters, and they are necessary, and they are a way to make the theaters healthy. The idea that the movie distributors can make money from cable, video, ancillaries, merchandising, music, why can't, which the theaters don't participate in, why can't the theaters make some ancillary revenue from their boxes, from those venues?
So let me ask you a philosophical question. Do you think Woody Allen should take the advance and write his book?
Oh, you are now throwing your curves. That is not fair. If there was a commercial for it in the movie theater, I'd buy it.
I'll help him write the book.
Oh, my God. You are a mean fellow.
Pete, tied in with that is the following issue. So often, lately, when you go to the movies are too long. You do feel a degree of self-indulgence creeping in on the part of the filmmaker. How often do you say to yourself, did that director, that young director, inexperienced director, have final cut over that picture? Is this why it's sort of rambling?
Well, what really happens is that the studios, in many cases, have abandoned real control over pictures, and that's the battle. And, filmmaker doesn't get that, a young filmmaker doesn't get that unless they've exhibited some kind of big hit. So the problem is they get this giant hit, and then they want to be Zemeckis, Cameron, or Spielberg, who have earned final cut. They have really earned it through success. Right. And suddenly there's one film, and the studio, in order to get them on the next picture, this hot filmmaker, the zookeeper who handles that director is able to elicit a final cut for them. And that's the folly of a studio.
And you know why he wants the final cut? Because usually if you get final cut, you get a little jump in his salary as well. So you say, I have a final cut director, you should get $5 million instead of $4 million. But a Woody Allen or someone like that, and I'm not going to talk about his book, so don't tense. A Woody Allen, someone who, a director who writes his material as well as directs it. It seems to me final cut, he's the legitimate auteur. That I can see a case for final cut. A David Lean, I can see a case for final cut. He's proven there's the weight and the responsibility. But you wonder at the way final cut is being given away by the studios today, whether it isn't really hurting the filmmaking process. I think there is a trend now. I think you're going to see more and more studios taking the position that we will not give final cut to filmmakers.
what we believe is a collaborative art form. We discussed this many times, that the filmmaker has to engage in a collaborative art form. And this takes the collaborative out of the art form because it ends the discussion. You don't have a shootout, you have a suicide, lots of them. Because what happens is the film then is 20 minutes too long, and the director hears but doesn't listen to the conversation from the studio. He often doesn't even hear the audience tell them it's too long. Right. And the other part of it that's interesting is that the studio then tries to create a bouquet of contractual provisions. It's got to be certain running times, certain rating. They try to recapture the control. The problem we have, and the problem that the industry has, is that they've given away that control too easily. I really think that it's a right, in fact, an incredible right that has to be earned.
Do you remember the biggest fight over Final Cut in recent years was American History X, where Tony Kaye took ads in Variety, making his argument, and New Line.
That was a mistake, first mistake he made.
That's a bit of a mistake. And
Should've
New
used
Line
the other
was the
paper.
studio. Well, we ran the ads. It was all right. But in point of fact, it was a ridiculous, self-destructive argument, because if any quarrel on a picture, if the trust breaks down to the degree that you have to take ads in order to defend your position, then it's folly.
Finally, we're in agreement. Let's ask our next guest to come on out here and shoot it out with us.
A rare good idea, Peter. Bernie Brillstein is the opposite of the prototypical talent agent today, the sharp young guy armed with a Harvard MBA who looks like he wants to take over some major corporation. I mean, Bernie is actually warm and cuddly. And more important, he likes talent. He likes to nurture talent and discover talent.
He's been responsible for such films as The Blues Brothers and Ghostbusters, produced television series such as Just Shoot Me and News Radio, and has nurtured the careers of comedy greats Gilda Radner and Wayne Brady. Welcome, producer-manager Bernie Brillstein.
And thank you for coming here today, Bernie.
You're welcome, because I have no business.
That's right.
No,
And
thank
Bernie
you.
also coined the expression, "You're no one in Hollywood unless someone wants you dead."
So who wants you dead?
No one anymore. I'm too old.
No. You're a manager. You were a manager of some of the greatest talent in the business.
Right.
You look at the business today and you say, an actor, a big star actor, has a manager, which gets 10%, an agent that gets 10%, a business manager gets 5%, a publicity person that gets 5%. What's
What
up?
a lawyer. He's got a lawyer.
And don't forget
And his
the lawyer.
wife.
And the ex-wife.
And the ex-wife and the wife.
So how is there anything left?
They always manage to have a few bucks left, and it pisses us off.
Right.
I don't know how they do it. It's ridiculous.
Does anybody need all those people?
No one in
That's
the
the question.
human world needs that many people. If you have one good person, you're really lucky.
Is this, they have no good person? Is that what usually happens?
Well, what happens is there's a psyche that comes with all the success. And I'm sure we've all lived through it with some people we know, is that they become successful and then the fans get around them. So they build a coterie around them. And then the coterie doesn't let anyone else get in there because they are close to the king. It's like the king's court. And they're never going to tell the king he's wrong until the king goes out of business. Then they get a new king. I mean, it's yes men. It's all it is most of the time.
A number of people in the last couple of weeks have said to me, when I've asked, well, why do you have a manager and an agent? They'll say, I can never get my agent on the phone. Now, technically, a manager is supposed to strategize, right? The difference is, and a
An
manager
agent
is
is
supposed
licensed by the state to get employment.
Right.
A manager advises, consults, and whatever else we do. Look, deals, getting the person in the room is the important thing. Deals can be negotiated by anyone. No one makes a better deal than a studio wants to pay. Honest to God. I mean, so getting the person in the room to get a job or finding that, I represent a young kid, Wayne Brady. I love him because he's that talented, okay? There's no one around like him. It may take a year longer, a year less, but he is the only thing close to what Sammy Davis was, I think. And he's Will Smith. He's all those good things. It's where he trained. That's one of the few places left.
But isn't it a part of the business that you train these people, you bring them along, you get them going, you get them their first big hit, and then they leave you often?
Not, well, I was very, I'm getting spilled the
cruel way
coffee.
of putting it.
But it's true.
They do leave you because they all want to be with CAA.
Oh my God, please.
So we were talking before about commercials in movie theaters. When you pay your $10, do you want to see a bunch of commercials?
No, I really don't want to see the commercials. They're boring.
But the reality is these theaters that you make so much money from
are a 3-day business. If they can't get some other revenue in them, how are we going to have theaters?
How about the $10 popcorn?
Oh, come
Mind you,
on.
he made them a 3-day business. They were a 3-week business
Yeah,
before
right.
Goober came along.
It used to be great. It used to go very slow. And now it's one night in your history working a year and a half. It's sad.
It's like your marriages.
Well, no, 2 nights. 2 nights. I thought I had another trick and I didn't.
So we're talking a little bit earlier about weekend grosses and how you claim they distort the economics of the movie business.
Weekend gross? You mean getting that? Oh, that's a different question. Where did you throw me right on my ass? Oh my God, that's
He's an
hysterical.
equal opportunity abuser.
Oh, my
He does
God
this to me all the time.
almighty. It has set in the Alzheimer's, right? What did you tell me before the show? Oh my God. I'm sitting here waiting for one question. Weekend grosses distort. I thought I was going crazy. I thought I had senility like that.
He's a mean
I
bastard.
looked at you, then I knew I was okay. I'm looking at you with a straight face. I see him going, what? That was great.
Bernie Brillstein, you were early in your career so closely involved with some amazing entertainers around Saturday Night Live. I mean, Belushi, Gilda Radner, all these extraordinary people. You were their manager, their mentor.
They didn't have agents, by the way.
They didn't have
No.
agents, right?
No, they didn't know what agents were.
And Lorne Michaels.
Right.
How did Lorne Michaels set up that show? What was his pitch again?
Lorne was a young writer from Canada who was working on Laugh-In. And, you know, late night in the studios in those days, we'd walk around because they did the Jerry Lewis show there, the Phyllis Diller show there, the Dean Martin show at NBC. It was great to hang out. You actually felt you were in show business, and it didn't cost any money. So late at night, because the shows always ran long, you talked to all the writers, and Lorne came up to me and said, look, I have a great idea for a television show. He said, I'd like to do a television show for people who were brought up on television. Yeah. That's how simple the idea for Saturday Night Live was. And he did it. And he knew the young people from the Groundlings and from Second City. And just one of those miracles that happened. No one paid attention to it. It's all because Johnny Carson didn't want any more reruns on Saturday nights. You
So
know?
if it stays on one more year, it'll be deemed successful?
30 years.
Yeah.
30 years. And
Remember what it was like trying to get Bernie on the phone in those days? When
No.
he said, I'd like to
he
talk
always
to you."
got me on the phone.
You could get him on the phone, but you couldn't get him to say yes, or he'd say yes, but, and then he would have zeros on the left side of the decimal point. Lots
Ladies
of
and
them.
gentlemen, they're making up stories. Complete fabrications. Oh, I was a schmuck for a while. I got to admit, the Blues Brothers, I was 47, and I had a Blues Brothers scarf, a Blues Brothers satin jacket, a Blues Brothers hat. And one day my wife said to me, you know, you look like a putz. And that was the end of my career.
But then you divorce her?
Well, yes, I divorced her.
well, there you
How
go.
dare she tell me the truth?
That's what's known as Final Cut.
Oh, I was some dope boy. Oh, my God. But I fell for it. That was the one time I fell for this business.
Success.
Success,
It's an aphrodisiac.
man.
You
It's an
get it?
You
aphrodisiac.
should have
Chase
found-
it for years.
You should have seen
No,
Goober.
I didn't chase it, but when it came upon me, it was awful nice.
You should have seen Goober after Batman opened. I mean, he was flying around with his cape. I couldn't ever find him.
But success is a really strange thing to handle in any manner, shape, or form. You have to be very strong to handle it. Once you have it once, and you know it's going to go away, there'll be another hot guy next week, it's okay.
You know, you talk about a coterie around you. I mean, it seemed like there was a self-destruct mechanism built into so many of the really extraordinary young people who came aboard that show. I mean,
It's not only that show. I mean, that show was the 70s.
Yeah.
The 70s was a very different time than, you know, drugs, I guess, were prevalent when I was a kid. I just didn't know about them.
But don't you think Hollywood, you know, rewards bad behavior today? It may not have as much pervasive drugs. I don't think that's, I think it is here today. It's just a little more hidden. But the question is, don't you think bad behavior is still rewarded in Hollywood?
It's
still
not
punished?
rewarded, it's condoned. It's not rewarded. People don't say, thank God you were stoned last night.
No.
If you keep bringing people into the theaters, they're going to try and make it work until you're uninsurable. And then they can't make it work. You know, then it comes money. It all comes down to money, Peter. You know, you've run enough studios to know that if someone does it, you turn your back as long as you can.
So in other words, get it, no matter what you have to pay for it, and look the other way
That's
as often
correct.
as you have to, as long as you
Yeah,
got
and
it.
let the fools take care of the talent. Me being the fool. No, if someone, Belushi, you can't stop someone from doing drugs. You just can't. You can't. We hired 24-hour guards around them. We tried everything. If someone wants to go out and get drugs, they're going to get drugs. You can't stop someone from destroying themselves.
See, I don't think bad behavior is condoned today, really. I think that people got away with more back in the days of the studio system when the studio publicity departments could kill any kind of
Well,
story.
they ran the town completely.
Yeah.
And also, the guys who ran the studios were also players.
Yeah.
They were also in the streets. They were also out at night. It was like one big club where everyone protected everyone else. When actors became independent, when they had their own companies, and no one guided them, we got in a lot of trouble.
One of the things that you took pride in when you were a young agent and coming out of the mailroom is you used to love to go to clubs and hang around and actually try to find talent.
Right.
Does anybody do that anymore?
No, it's dirty.
Yeah.
It's
What do you
dirty.
mean it's dirty?
The people, look, this is going to sound like an old cranky, schmucky thing. But
Well, at least one of those words might be right.
okay, schmucky. When I was a kid, okay, when I was one of the few college graduates, NYU, not Harvard, but NYU, okay? We thought it was a privilege to be in this business. We never thought we were going to make a lot of money. We thought we were going to laugh a lot, have fun, maybe get a woman or two, which is part of the draw of this business, always will be, and have a good time. And if we survived, we'd have a good life. The money, like, that's around today, all right, if you represent a star who makes $20 million a picture, you make $2 million from a phone call. If you, one call, guy, $2 million for saying yes. I'll get you a trailer, I'll get you anything you want. $2 million, it's insane.
Bernie came out of the William Morris mailroom, and historically,
You're too
a
tall
lot
for
of the...
I was, that's why I left.
It's too hefty, too.
Too hefty too, and they
He
didn't
got
like
hefty.
that.
But a lot of
When he
the
got rich.
people who went to the William Morris office, they really were attracted with a genuine love of show business. I mean, that is what lured them to that
Also,
place.
people didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, well, that's
I mean,
true.
honest to God,
Yeah.
an agent, they give you a card, you can get into nightclubs for nothing and stand in the back and television shows. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these young people today always feel that. They feel it's great. They're excited to be in it. Used to
No
have
one wants to
meetings.
be in the talent business. They want to be in the packaging business, Peter. You try and get a young, talented agent. It's nearly impossible
Why is that?
because no one has time to develop anyone. It's instant hits. It's like television now. You don't do well in 2 weeks, they cancel you.
Oh,
One
movie-
bad
the
weekend
movie-
in
movie
movies,
business, one week and you're
one
gone.
bad Friday, you're gone, right?
In the days of the studio system, where you really had people under contract to a studio, it certainly seems historically that people were able to build a career
The
more
studio- yeah,
intelligently
I agree with
than
you.
today, which is sort of a chaotic
I
situation.
have a great answer to that. Bill Murray, okay? I'll just use him.
Right.
We see the old movies, right? We see the best of the Spencer Tracy movies, the best of all the big stars who we remember, and even people who weren't born when they were made know these movies, right? Bill Murray is a genius as an actor, as a comedian, as everything. Unfortunately, because there's no studio system, no one's telling him to make 4 movies a year. He makes 1 movie every year and a half. So Bill might be remembered, but not like these old guys, because these guys had a career. They had a body of work that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Billy, I just think, is the greatest. I mean, Lost in Translation to me is so far the best movie of the year.
Groundhog Day was pretty good. We did Groundhog,
Groundhog Day was great. But it's a great movie, and he's a great actor. And so is the girl, you know?
Yeah.
But what do you...
And yet that picture was, one might argue, is having a tough time in the marketplace. I mean,
Not really for what it
is-
costs.
I would say that it is at least struggling.
See,
So do you want me to say I hate Bill Murray?
No, I love Bill Murray. I think he's great, and I think she did a beautiful job in the picture. But it's hard for those
Okay,
pictures
I
to get
agree.
into the marketplace the same way.
Well, it's an art picture. It is an art
I don't think
house
it cost a lot of money, by the way.
No.
Didn't.
It didn't. But I can only be an artist. I can't just, grosses don't mean anything
So
to
when
me
the actor
anymore.
who you're getting $20 million for, right, says, I want to do the picture for love, I want to do this
I say
17-week
yes.
picture
I
for
say
love.
yes.
You do.
Yeah, I did Continental Divide with Belushi.
Right.
Because I wanted him to be Spencer Tracy. Yes, the answer is yes.
Did he become Spencer Tracy from
No,
that?
he became dead. Not
So
from the
anybody,
business.
anybody that you go for art becomes
Right,
dead.
dies, right.
Oh, that's good.
It's not. Do you give gift baskets, by the way, for doing this show?
He gives you a weekly variety, just one
yeah.
week old.
He's never given me a
actually,
weekly variety,
we
by
give
the way.
daily
Please,
variety. It's
no
a bigger
ads, no
price.
ads, no ads.
Okay, so I guess there's no gift baskets. So you lied to me again.
That's part of
Forget about the staff being nice.
part of his process.
but what I
Aren't you embarrassed now? Not a lousy piece of fruit.
Don't prejudge us. I mean, you know, it may come
Oh, God bless you.
better than a fruit basket. Where'd that come from?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up next, the latest in movie news.
did you see his filmography?
And here's Linda Grasso, our Sunday morning shootout source, to give us the latest in the movie news. Hiya, Linda.
Good morning, Peter and Peter. The heart-wrenching account of the disappearance of Daniel Pearl, the Wall Street Journal reporter killed by terrorists, will be the subject of a film at Warner Brothers. The new production company, headed by Brad Pitt, wife Jennifer Aniston, and their manager-partner Brad Gray, won the film rights to the book written by Marianne Pearl, the widow. The new company had to pay close to $1 million for the rights. Pearl's widow was initially reluctant to seek a film deal because of the painful nature of the story, but was finally persuaded that a movie might provide a lasting legacy for her husband.
Yeah, I'm sure they're right. It could be a very touching picture.
Yeah, but you know, biopics are very challenging, especially when you know they end badly. I've had the misfortune to have that experience, and I wonder whether or not 2 years from now, when the movie comes out, whether or not there'll be another perspective on it. But very difficult.
Yeah, it's sort of a painful thing to think about what happened to that man.
Not just a question of it's painful, it's a question of whether it's entertaining.
Linda, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you here next week on Sunday Morning Shootout.